Hey, Rocky. Chilling? Feeling good? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the final day, day 7 of this week on baby food diet. It's been a relatively uninteresting week on to me personally. Not quite as bad as the raspberry ketone diet in terms of just not being as interesting. Primarily because with baby food, there are a lot of sweet products that, with fruit based availability, have the same two fruits in it, apple and banana. No matter what I get, it's always something that's apple or banana. Obviously, the lunch items have been the most interesting things to try, but even then, kind of the theme that has popped up is a lot of the flavors are very similar. So if you can tolerate that sort of baby food flavor, this will be a pretty easy week on for you. Kind of like Special K. You know, if you get some kind of Special K cereal, you don't have to have the variety I had. But if you pick a Special K cereal that you really like and you have that for 7 days, pick some bars to have, stuff like that, easy diet. Ah! That's what it looks like in my face. What you doing? Say. And now the jealous one's here. Slappa papa. That being said, this has been relatively easy. I mean, I thought I'd be eating nothing but baby food going into it, but when I rewatched the Jevons episodes, I realized dinner was fine, which I'm like, oh, this will be easy. Or easier. It has been easy. And it's been easy to a point where, because of the lack of specified restrictions, been kind of boring. So we're going to have our last breakfast baby food. And then we'll follow it up with our last lunch baby food. With the final baby food in general. And then we got a special dinner tonight. Because today is me and Gale's 3-year dating anniversary. So we are going to go to the same place that we went to for our first date for dinner. The final breakfast, of course, will look very similar to all breakfasts, with the juice and tea that I've had all week. I don't know why I brought both these out, but this one I'm actually going to use for lunch. So let's look at our breakfast one. This is Greenwise, raspberry, banana, oat. Alright, this will be the last time you see this tea because we're running out of it, and since it does obviously have wheat in it, clearly not going to be something we buy again, although it was pretty good. Here is our baby food. I would imagine this is going to be pretty banana based, with banana, raspberry, and oat in it, which are not very strong flavors. So we'll try this out. Yeah, it's fine. Sweet is what I taste. That's just the big thing that comes out of it. I definitely can tell with the ground up oats in this one. I think it's because there's not a lot of strong flavoring in this one. With, banana not being terribly overpowering as a flavor, raspberries not being terribly overpowering as a flavor. But so that makes the oats stand out a little bit more, or maybe they just put more oat in this. Whatever the case, it's pretty good. It's fine for a final breakfast. I'm going to get some work done around the house today, and then I'll come back here and report on our final baby food selection for lunch. It's lunchtime. Been busy, and work mode is off temporarily, so I can fix my final baby food for the day. What is it, you may ask? Well, you may not be asking. I don't know. Saved an interesting one for last, didn't I? Pasta marinara with veggies. This is definitely an interesting one. This is going to be warmed up, which, of course, all I gotta do is get a little bowl, warm it up in here, and we'll be ready to go with that. For our dessert, it is a banana, of course, cinnamon, and granola. Again, something a little different and interesting to try. Here it is. Dessert's over there. Let's get this going. Basically is pasta. The basic marinara of all marinaras, a tomato sauce. What you call that? Tomato paste. That's it. Tomato paste with beans and carrots. Probably could have used a little bit more time warming. I think that would be a little bit better warmed up. A little bit more. I didn't really take much time because I don't really have a whole lot of time to be sitting there waiting for it to warm up. Doesn't also specify how long it should be warmed, which I don't know. Definitely tastes like tomato paste. No doubt about that. Definitely can taste, it reminds me of like a basic spaghetti, but a very lukewarm. That's why I say I think this would be really better if you got it warmed up real nice. But cold like this is not the greatest. But otherwise, it's fine. It's basically like a pureed spaghetti pasta that really doesn't have a whole lot to it. Just a pretty basic one. Time for the granola and banana and cinnamon. Ooh. That cinnamon adds a nice little flavor to it. I like that. Let's do it again. Yeah. For once, this is one that's actually got really, not a lot of spicing and whatnot for all these, so they're kind of plain tasting a lot. But because this has cinnamon in it, that really sticks out in this. So if you like cinnamon, you'll like it. But if you're kind of like my sister that's not a big fan of cinnamon, this probably might be too much. All right, we are at dinner. Since me and Gale's dating anniversary, we have went to the first place that we ever went to on a date, which is Red Lobster. And we, of course, have the legendary Cheddar Bay biscuits, which Gale can't have, but I will be devouring those. We started off with an appetizer, which is a lobster dip.
It's a lobster dip.
Yeah, so we'll try that. I've never had one of these before.
It's got spinach, artichokes, 3 cheese blend, and also lobster chunks.
Yep, I'm going to get
It
chunk.
is blazing hot though. Be very careful. I burnt my tongue.
You can probably see the steam coming off of that. It's really good. You wash it down with this mocktail. I can't remember what it's called, but it was a pineapple, orange type mocktail they're offering. So, Caesar salad, my first side, has arrived. Now shrimp linguine Alfredo. Usually one of my favorite things, but it's quite thin, which I'm not used to it being that way, but hey, it should still be good. Night of the 7th day. It's time to raise a glass. Blue milk. To celebrate the ending of this week on, my last food, some blackberries. In the morning, we will do the weigh-in and the conclusion to this week on the baby food diet. All right, moment of truth. Let's see where the number stands. 227.4. And that is how they say all she wrote. I lost 5 pounds total on the baby food diet, which is a big improvement over my last diet, which was the raspberry ketone diet, in which was the first time that I did not lose weight. I gained less than a pound, so it's almost kind of a push on that. But still, consider the fact that I was supposed to lose a pound in a week. Minimum. Also the first time that I did not hit my goal of beating Jevon's weight loss was on the raspberry ketone diet. This time, Jevons lost 3.6 pounds, so my goal was to surpass that, which of course with 5 pounds, I surpassed it by a whole pound and 1.4 pounds. It was almost a pound and a half. I got all the cats coming here because they see me sitting out here now. So the diet itself is not that hard of a diet. It's about like the Special K diet, honestly, where you have to make some modifications at the 2 smaller meals during the day, have to be somewhat restrictive early on, not so much later in the day. I would say this one is a little less restrictive, at least based on what I've seen. Although you certainly could try to make it about as restrictive as Special K. It wouldn't take a lot of modifications. I think that's part of the reason why I lost more weight on the Special K diet than I did on this one, is purely because I was a little more restrictive just due to the fact that I knew I had certain limits, Like there was clear outline of what I could or could not have. And so I ate less of certain things. Also, the anniversary dinner last night, fairly big meal. I probably would have had more if some of the food was a little bit better. To be fair, Red Lobster was very good. I got that shrimp linguine, fettuccine, Alfredo, shrimp Alfredo linguine. There we go. The Alfredo was the worst Alfredo I've ever had. It was like soup. It was so thin. There was nothing to it. So I ate the shrimp, ate a few noodles, and that was about it. So because of that, I didn't eat as much last night as probably I normally would have, given the situation. Still, though, being said, fairly large meal to finish on. And look, I mean, Jevons couldn't stand it when he did it. I don't think it was that bad. Especially, look, I did choose a lot of similar flavors with apples and bananas. That's just because almost everything that was there that had fruit in it had an apple or banana in it. I don't know if that's because that helps with the consistency of it or what. But the fact is, that's what they had. And so there wasn't a lot of huge variety of flavors. There were some meat options, so you could always try some of those, like ham and turkey flavors from Gerber. I know they have those, but I didn't have a problem with it. So if you think that's something that you want to try to do yourself, much like the Special K diet, you might lose a few pounds, just as long as you don't go crazy with your freedom. I still think you could lose a fair amount of weight on it. I would choose Special K, though, over baby food, though. Much more enjoyable, especially if you're picking your favorite cereals. So next time, we will have a sort of non-official week on. It's going to be more like a 7 days of. And you'll get to see what that is next month.